And can I look at you or not? Okay, so ask away.
So
the three objects I always have with me in my dressing room are Orthomol Immune, which is the vitamin that I take every day, which seems to keep me in a pretty healthy state. My tea, which is just basic British black tea, and usually some nuts, something, as a snack, like also banana, so snack food and the things I like. And my elastic band, because whether I'm singing or conducting, I always warm up my voice and my body before a rehearsal, and I use this elastic band as a way to activate the breathing muscles, the breathing apparatus, as I'm doing my vocal warm-up. So this is always with me. So this is the third time that I have been back with the Orchestre de Chambre de Lausanne, and my second time back in the role as principal guest conductor. I love coming to this orchestra, and I love creating special programs just for them. And this one is no exception. It's a program that I made that goes from the dark side towards redemption and the light. So we begin with a kind of death and the supernatural, strange mutations of time, and the opposite of benediction, which is malediction. So that's the whole opening half and into the beginning of the second half. And then finally we finish with Mendelssohn's Meeresstille und glückliche Fahrt. And interestingly enough, the poem from the Mendelssohn, there's two poems by Goethe, Meeresstille und glückliche Fahrt. And Meeresstille sounds like, oh, beautiful, calm water. But beautiful, calm water for a sailor meant death, because it meant that the boat was not moving and the boat was just stuck in the middle of nowhere. So it's a kind of dangerous but beautiful situation, which changes when the wind starts to blow and the voyage becomes a happy one, because the sailors know that they are heading home to their loved ones. So that's the kind of the trajectory of this particular program. And it's wonderful to have my friend Bertrand Chamaillou, the incredible French pianist, as our soloist. So the first time I came to Orchestre de Chambre de Lausanne, I brought Haydn Symphony No. 104. And I refer to Haydn as my 250-year-old boyfriend. I love his music. I can't get enough of it. And I think my feeling for it is infectious, because orchestras really seem to enjoy playing Haydn symphonies with me. So the second time I came here, I brought Haydn Symphony 45, which was the farewell, which is quite a poignant piece about saying goodbye and leaving behind something that you love. So this year I wanted to bring, for this strange kind of supernatural program, I wanted to bring one of Haydn's strangest symphonies, Symphony No. 64, Tempora Mutantur, the mutations of time. And this symphony, many aspects of it probably sound quite normal to anyone familiar with classical music, but the second movement is very special. The second movement is almost as if you're in a dream, and things appear and then they disappear in front of your eyes, like they evaporate. And Haydn is kind of playing with us thinking that we're living in a certain place and time, and all of a sudden nothing is what it seems. He was very theatrical in his instrumental writing, which is particularly interesting to me as a singer, because Haydn's vocal music and operas are not so numerous, but his instrumental repertoire shows all of his gift for the theater. So that's why I wanted to bring this particular one to this kind of strange, supernatural, dark side kind of performance for this wonderful visit to my colleagues at the Orchestre de Chambre de Lausanne. Carl Nielsen's very short tone poem for strings called At the Bier of a Young Artist, bier means a tomb, was written in homage of a family friend who had died at age 30 from appendicitis. And Nielsen wrote this piece. It's very mournful, and the harmony is very strange and dark. It begins in E flat minor, which is not a common key. And at this time, composers knew that, oh, if you play in D major, it means this emotion, and if you play in C sharp minor, it means this emotion. And E flat minor also has its own qualities. And by the end, the grief seems to be resolved, and there is hope, and there is a kind of feeling that whoever is singing this song for string orchestra can go on, despite having lost this wonderful person. And Henry Cowell, the Irish Suite. Wow, this is crazy. This is a piece written by Henry Cowell, an American composer. I think it was written in something like 1928. It's incredibly experimental. This is the Swiss premiere of the piece. It's never been played in Switzerland. We think it's only ever been played once in Europe, ever. It's a concerto for string piano and chamber orchestra. Well, what is a string piano? Well, our soloist, Bertrand Chamaillou, is playing inside the piano. He doesn't play the keys in this. He's actually inside strumming the strings and taking his fingernails and running them down the strings, making all these ghostly kind of supernatural sounds, knocking sounds, plucking the strings, so it sounds almost like a strange harp. And there are three characters within this suite in each movement. The first is the banshee, which is a woman, a fairy that appears to warn of a death. The second is the leprechaun, which is a supernatural figure who seems to make a lot of mischief. And the third are the bells of the fairies. So I really wanted to explore this piece with this wonderful soloist, Bertrand Chamaillou, who was also very curious about it. And so we're very happy to bring it to our audience here in Lausanne. Before I go on stage, I usually try to bring my breath into a very low-centered place. I try to have the feeling that my center of gravity is quite low in the body. And I try to bring my focus very small. So, for example, I will look at the edge of one thumbnail against the other thumbnail to bring my eye control to that point. It's a kind of dynamic meditation which helps get me focusing my attention exactly where I want it before I go on stage.